What's up, fam? It's your boy, Heaven Hollywood, of course, and we're back on the IE Network. And this is the Heaven Hollywood Report. And let's get to it. Shout out to my sponsor, BehindTheIndustry.blog. Make sure you check them out on all mobile devices in the world wide web. Before we get started, please make sure that you like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss one video. Let's go. And as of right now, Jay's up. So let me tell you what happened. The Jane Doe, who was suing Sean Diddy Combs and then went and resubmitted and added on the name Sean Carter, which is aka Jay-Z. She did an interview. Now remember, she wanted her lawyer Tony Busby wanted her to remain a Jane Doe, right? Now last week, Alex Spiro, who is the lawyer for Jay-Z, filed a motion with the court to have this woman's identity revealed. He was saying that basically, if everyone knows who Jay-Z is, and if someone is suing him, they need to know who the person is so they can have a proper defense. Well, the judge never got a chance to file his decision on that. But this Jane Doe went and did an interview on NBC. Now, she's sitting in the shadows so we can't see her face, but you can hear her talking. She's telling the story, and her lawsuit and story is full of inconsistencies. So this interview that she did, I don't know whether they said they did it at Tony Busby's office, a lawyer's office. So once they got her in there, NBC interviewed her, asked her some questions, and they found immediate inconsistencies. What type of inconsistencies happened? Well, we'll tell you. Big inconsistencies. If you look at her lawsuit, she said that she went to the VMAs, the 2000 VMAs. She stated that a friend who was 20 at the time drove her. She snuck out her window, right? She snuck out her window and drove her to the VMAs. Now get this. She was living in Rochester, New York. So a 20-year-old friend drove her to Manhattan, which is about a 5.5-hour drive without traffic. Without traffic, right? So she went and she said she went for the VMAs. We're going to figure the VMAs. If she's getting there for the red carpet, she probably had to get there by about 6 because that's where the red carpet usually starts. All right, so she probably had to leave her house about 1 o'clock p.m. And gets dropped off by a friend. Now that friend, assuming if they were living in Rochester, had to drive back, right? She said that she started looking for limo drivers. She's walking around looking for limo drivers. She comes across a limo driver who said he's the driver for Puffy. You know, you read the lawsuit. Oh, yeah, just what Puffy's looking for, yada, yada, yada. Right? Tells her to come back after the show. Now, remember, if you didn't know this, the first lawsuit that they filed was last month, or I believe October. In that lawsuit, she said, the limo driver said, come back 9:30, 10 o'clock. This lawsuit that they refiled, the attorney took that part out. Why? Because it's easy to look up that the MTV Music Awards most of the time starts at 8 and it doesn't end to around 11. So they knew by looking up the time of the show, the math ain't mathing. Let's take this out. So they took that out, right? I'm sure Alex Spiro saw that, but they probably didn't realize it. Took it out. So in the lawsuit, she says the limo driver tells her come back after the show, right? So she says the limo driver took about 20 minutes driving from Manhattan. They pull up at a big white house with a U, a mansion, 7 bedrooms, she said, in this lawsuit. So that's a mansion. Inside, she said she talks to Benji Madden and Fred Durst, right? Benji Madden is from what? Good Charlotte, I believe his group is. Check this out. NBC said they reached out to Good Charlotte. Their managers confirmed that Benji Madden or his brother, I think his brother's name is Joel, they were not at the 2000 VMAs. They, matter of fact, was on tour in the Midwest. So they were not even in New York. There's an inconsistency. The biggest inconsistency is, remember she said in the lawsuit, after all this took place, the father picked her up because she had no one else to trust. She called the father. Now remember, she lives in Rochester. We're going to assume the father lives in Rochester. She was 13, so she's living at home, right? Father drives to Manhattan in the middle of the morning, right, to pick his daughter up. And then she said when she got in the car, he didn't ask any questions. They didn't talk. She didn't say anything. Now remember, the first lawsuit, in the lawsuit, she said, "Oh, I admitted that I admitted to him that I lied to him about my whereabouts." What do you mean you lied to him about your whereabouts? You snuck out the house. You snuck out of the house. What do you mean lied about your whereabouts? You snuck out of the house, right? And you obviously didn't have a cell phone because you said that you had to go to a corner store, to a gas station to call him, to call your father. So there was no lying about your whereabouts. You snuck out. Didn't you? Okay. The father says he does not remember. He does not recount this happening. That's the biggest right there. That's the biggest inconsistency. The father doesn't remember getting up in the middle of the night. I don't care if it's 20 years ago. If you got to get up somewhere and go get your daughter, your 13-year-old daughter, who you just realized snuck out of the house, and you thought that she was in her room, and you realized she wasn't in her room, you have to go get her 5 hours and then drive 5 hours back. You're going to tell me you're not going to remember that? Anybody will remember that. I don't care if it was 20 years ago. I don't care if it was 30 years ago. I don't care if it was 40 years ago. Things that I've done as a kid, the worst thing I've ever done as a kid, I still remember it happened. And my mom, rest in peace, before she passed away, she still had remembered it happened because we were talking about it probably like 2 weeks prior to her passing away. So the worst thing you've done in your life or disappointment to your parents, you trust me, you remember it. So that's another big inconsistency. And then the final inconsistency was Jay-Z and Diddy. She said that this happened at a mansion. Jay-Z and Diddy were not at a mansion that night. They were at Lotus. Matter of fact, Diddy and J-Lo were at Lotus. Jay-Z was at Lotus with Dame Dash and a couple other people from Rockefeller. They weren't even in the same section. Diddy was in his private section with J-Lo. Jay-Z was with those dudes. Diddy and J-Lo got into like a little argument inside. They left and went to Swirl. They went to a club called Swirl. And then after that, they were seen, and these are all pictures that you can find online, they were seen going into Diddy's townhome during 2000. Diddy didn't even have a mansion yet. He had a townhome in New York. Diddy didn't purchase the first mansion until 2004, right? In that area, and that was in New Jersey. So another inconsistency is they were not there. Yeah, maybe they left Lotus and could have went somewhere else, but it wasn't to that house party. So huge inconsistencies. Jay-Z and Alex Spiro is basically saying this was a frivolous lawsuit, and Anthony Busby filed these claims knowing that this was a frivolous lawsuit. All sorts of paperwork where he's not even allowed to practice in New York unless he's on board with someone else, unless he has like a co-attorney. He has none of that filled out. Everything is signed by him and him alone. Alex Spiro wasted no time. He sent this in to Judge Torres. He said, Dear Honorable Judge Torres, we write to the court on behalf of our client, Sean Carter, on a matter of extraordinary and grave importance for the integrity of the proceedings in the above captioned case. Today at 7:27 Eastern Standard Time, NBC reported on the interview and had its reporters conducted with the anonymous plaintiff in this case. The interview outs plaintiff allegations for what they are, a sham. Basic facts in her narrative, the who's, what, when, and where are wrong. She claims her father picked her up from the assault. Her own father denies that ever happened. She claims she spoke with Benji Madden at the party that night, but he was on tour in the Midwest at the time, forcing her to admit, I may have made some mistakes. I may have made a mistake in identifying. She claims the assault took place at an after party at Mr. Combs' home, but photos that night show Mr. Combs and Mr. Carter at Lotus nightclub for the after party. When pressed, the plaintiff admitted she was guessing about key details, including the time it took to reach the venue. She admits that she has no single corroborating witness over the last 24 years. The woman who that she said drove her there, ironically, has passed away. Rest in peace to her. These stunning revelations make clear that the complaint filed by plaintiff's attorney, Anthony Busby, therefore had no factual basis whatsoever. Even Mr. Busby is walking back the complaint he put in his name to, excusing these glaring inconsistencies by pointing the finger at the other law firm, saying that they were the ones who, it was a referral, and they vetted, or at least he thought they vetted the plaintiff. So he's trying to throw another law firm under the bus and pass the buck to them. The complaint filed by plaintiff's attorney Anthony Busby therefore had no factual basis whatsoever. The heinous allegations against Mr. Carter are patently false. It says, in light of those developments, it is now clear that Mr. Busby signed the complaints and other filings in this case in violation of Federal Rule of Civil Procedure 11. Under that rule, an attorney who signs a document assumes an affirmative duty to conduct a reasonable inquiry into the facts and the law before filing. Business Guides, Inc., v. Chromatic, comments, enters, 498 U.S., yada, yada, yada. Basically, the attorney's signature denotes merit in the filing and sends a message to the district courts that this document is to be taken seriously. So basically, they're saying he filed the lawsuit knowing that it was frivolous. Jay-Z responded. He put up this statement. Today's investigative report proves this attorney, Busby, filed a false complaint against me in the pursuit of money and fame. This incident didn't happen, and yet he filed it in court and doubled down in the press. True justice is coming. We fight from victory, not for victory. This was over before it began. This 1-800 lawyer doesn't realize it yet, but soon. Alex Spiro doubles up. It is stunning that a lawyer would not only file such a serious complaint without proper vetting, but would make things worse by further peddling this false story in the press. We are asking the court to dismiss this frivolous case today and will take up the matter of additional discipline for Mr. Busby and all the lawyers that filed the complaint. So they're looking to sue Busby and probably try to get his license taken away. So if you're going to come with these lawsuits, especially Jay-Z and Alex Spiro is a top-notch lawyer. And what did I say before this case? I said, if it comes down to lawyers, it's not even a competition. Alex Spiro would eat Tony Busby up and spit him out before he even had time to chew good. Pause. So, as you can see the difference in the attorneys. Anthony Busby, all sorts of sanctions looks like it's coming his way. Now, the case is not dismissed yet. That's why I said Jay-Z is up. It's not over yet. But judging from this, I can't see any judge that's going to look at this and say, you know what, we can continue on. And if it does, Alex Spiro this girl or this woman couldn't even deal with NBC's questioning. And she said she's autistic. Can you imagine her on the stand against Alex Spiro? He'll eat her alive. So if they don't dismiss it and it goes to trial, this trial won't even be close. All right? Let's hopefully they get this over with, because this lawsuit is frivolous. Tony Busby knows it's frivolous. That's why he's trying to pass the buck. We'll see. We'll see. But as of right now, Jay-Z is up. Innocent until proven guilty. Like I always try to tell y'all, all y'all wanted to see this black man go down for what? As of right now, Jay-Z is up, like I told y'all. It's your boy Heaven Hollywood for the IE Network. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share this video with your friends.